Good morning, and please shut up. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Northern Nevada, where it is our mission to play ball. Also to grow together in love, faith, justice, and joy. We here at UUFN are growing in numbers and in our faith that by being and working together, we can bring about justice and build a compassionate community. It is a joy to see each of you in the bleachers and on Zoom for this time for 9 innings of reflection and introspection. We welcome all to be part of us regardless of racial identity, ethnic background, age, economic circumstances, sexual orientation, judicial history, or gender identity. UUFNN is about compassion and support, not judgment. I'm Bill Miller, personal pronouns he, him, his. It's my pleasure to serve as your worship associate for this morning's service, which is baseball, if you hadn't figured that out, led by Chris. If this is your first time with us, welcome. If you're online, feel free to contact the office or our website for more information. You can also click on the chat box link to fill out the newcomer form and sign up for our newsletter. If you're here in person, please see one of us to help you get someone who can give you that information. For those on Zoom, please note you can update your name on screen. You will remain muted during the service, but can use the chat box for comments, especially during the prayer and meditation sessions. As a courtesy, please refrain from posting announcements while folks are presenting. Your moms would not like that. Following the service, please stay on for a virtual coffee hour to chat face-to-face. If you're here in person, you can congregate in the great lobby for coffee and conversation, or, well, we'll have an even better option we'll be announcing shortly. Regrettably, COVID still lingers in the shadows. While we have lifted all restrictions, please honor those who choose to mask and observe social distancing. Again, I'm your worship associate for today's service. But before we get started, our greeting. So when I ring this, get up as willing and able and greet one another as willing and able. Ladies and gentlemen, let's play ball.
Rise as you're willing and able, and join us as we sing our introit, This Little Light of Mine.
Good morning. My name's Chris Piekarz. My pronouns are he, his, him, and I'm your worship leader today in this somewhat lighthearted service. Today I'm going to make the argument for why I think baseball should be the official sport of Unitarian Universalism. Coincidentally, this weekend is also the Ars All-Star Weekend, marking the halfway point for the 2023 baseball season. For those of you who might be attending for the first time, I just want to let you know, most of our services are not this controversial. So just by a show of hands, any baseball fans out there? Hey. Anybody play baseball or softball when they were younger or still do? Fans of other sports? Fans of no sports? Just wanted to show that we are diverse, as we have always been. I also want you all to know that in accordance with our third principle, I accept all of you and encourage you in your spiritual growth, although I might struggle a bit if you're a Dodger fan. And just for a bit of show and tell, this is one of the favorite things that lives at our house. It's a genuine Louis Slugger, and from the various trademarks and patent registrations on it, it was manufactured between 1924 and 1931. It belonged to my wife's grandfather, who played city ball in San Francisco in the early part of the 20th century. Back then, city ball meant any number of things. Could have been just a rec league, like people say softball today, or it could have been semi-pro amateur ball, where you would play barnstorming teams or barnstorm yourself for a cut at the gate. Regardless, this bat connects across generations, almost 100 years of baseball continuity. And if you listen to it very carefully, it's still got hits in it. And now I'd like to invite my good friend Philip up to light our chalice.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome. Told you I'd get you in the game. For those of you watching on Zoom, please light your chalices as well. Let us embrace the long sunny days of summer. The pace of life slows. A time for picnics and rest in the shade. Let us gather in the comfort of our sanctuary, slow down our restless hearts, and fill this space with gentle compassion and laughter. Thank you. Forget my oxygen.
be able to know those fellas.
All right, but you know, strange as it may seem, they give these ball players nowadays very peculiar names.
Funny names.
Nicknames, pet names. Now, on the St. Louis team, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
That's what I'm trying to find out.
I'm telling you, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
You know the fellas' names?
Yes.
And who's playing first?
Yes.
I mean, the fellow first base.
Who?
The fellow playing first base for St. Louis.
Who?
The guy on first base.
Who's on first?
What are you asking me for?
I'm not asking you, I'm telling you who is on first.
You guys talking about me?
Yes. As a matter of fact, we are. This is who.
How should I know? I never met the guy.
Oh, no, you met him.
Met who?
Yes.
Look. Would you tell me your name?
Who?
You.
Who?
Him. Me. Yes.
Who?
What is your name?
No, no, no. What's on second? This is who.
That's what I'm trying to find
Oh,
out.
calm down, will you?
Okay, listen. When I say hello to this fella, I'm saying hello to who? Hello, nice to meet you.
See, now you're starting to get.
What?
Right here.
And who are you?
I'm who?
What?
Yes.
Who's this fella?
No, who is that though? I am who? Who am I?
How am I supposed to know? What's your name?
Well, what is his name?
I'm not asking you what his name is. I'm asking you, who is this fella right here?
That's right.
But what's his name?
What is my name?
You don't know your name.
Of course I do.
Well, then tell me.
What?
Your name.
What?
What's wrong with this fella?
I think he's got a memory problem. Who? What? Yes? Can't you see him talking to him? Who? What? Who? What? Who? What? Who? What? Boys, settle down. Now then, I'm glad that's all cleared up. He's who and what's his name?
I don't know.
All right, gentlemen, I couldn't help but Look, it's very simple. This fella's actual name is Ho, W-H-O, and this fella's actual given birth name is what? W-H-A-T.
Well, that clears it up. Why didn't you say that in the first place? But wait, who are you?
I don't know.
Yes!
Oh, no. I'll never get that out. Well, we'll worry about that later. So for those of you who didn't buy tickets on the way in, which is most of you, now is your chance. It's the time to share our bounty, to help keep the lights on, the work of this congregation going, and pay the coaching staff. For those here in person, we'll be passing the basket. If you're following virtually, please text 73256, that's 73256. Type in UUFNN and hit send. You can also mail a check to the office at 780 Del Monte Lane, Reno 89511. Our Share of the Plate recipient this month is Northern Nevada International Center, NNIC, whose goal is to create better understanding and support for refugees through their educational exchange program, resettlement efforts, and language access resources. For many years, UUFNN volunteers have participated in their refugee resettlement programs, providing support and guidance for families who have relocated here seeking peace and opportunities. Our gifts can help provide household items and support for these families. Thank you in advance for your generosity. And just so you know, Share the Plate receives half the money from our collection plate. In addition, you can make a separate contribution in an envelope marked Share the Plate, or write in the percentage you'd like. And if you're online, designate your donation to Share the Plate or what percentage you want to go there. Now, let the offering begin. Oh. So, shall we all recite together our pledge? To the work of this fellowship, which is helping more people grow in love, faith, justice, and joy, we dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings. The outlook wasn't brilliant for the Mudville Nine that day. The score stood 4-2, with but one inning more to play. And then when Cooney died at first and Barrows did the same, a pall-like silence fell upon the patrons of the game. A straggling few got up to go in deep despair. The rest clung to the hope which springs eternal in the human breast. They thought, if only Casey could get but a whack at that. We put up even money now with Casey at the bat. But Flynn preceded Casey, as did also Jimmy Blake. The former was a hoodoo and the latter was a cake. So upon that stricken multitude, grim melancholy sat, for there seemed but little chance of Casey getting to the bat. But Flynn let fly a single to the wonderment of all, and Blake, the much despised, tore the cover off the ball. And when the dust had settled and men saw what had occurred, there was Jimmy safe at second and Flynn a hugging third. Then from 5,000 throats and more, there rose a lusty yell. It rumbled through the valley, it rattled in the dell. It pounded on the mountain and recoiled upon the flat. For Casey, mighty Casey, was advancing to the bat. There was ease in Casey's manner as he stepped into his place. There was pride in Casey's bearing, and a smile lit Casey's face. And when responding to the cheers, he lightly doffed his hat. No stranger in that crowd could doubt 'twas Casey at the bat. 10,000 eyes were on him as he rubbed his hands with dirt. 5,000 tongues applauded when he wiped them on his shirt. Then while the writhing pitcher ground the ball into his hip, defiance flashed on Casey's eye, and a sneer curled Casey's lip. And now the leather-covered sphere came hurtling through the air, and Casey stood a-watching it in haughty grandeur there. Close by the sturdy batsman, the ball unheeded sped. "That ain't my style," said Casey. "Strike one," the umpire said. From the benches black with people there went up a muffled roar, like the beating of storm waves on a stern and distant shore. "Kill him! Kill the umpire!" shouted someone in the stand. And it's likely they'd have killed him had not Casey raised his hand. With a smile of Christian charity, great Casey's visage shone. He stilled the rising tumult. He bade the game go on. He signaled to the pitcher, and once more the dun sphere flew. But Casey still ignored it, and the umpire said, "Strike two!" "Fraud!" cried the maddening crowds, and echo answered, "Fraud, fraud." But one scornful look from Casey, and the audience was awed. They saw his face grow stern and cold. They saw his muscles strain. And they knew that Casey wouldn't let that ball go by again. The sneer is gone from Casey's lip. His teeth are clenched in hate. He pounds with cruel violence his bat upon the plate. And now the pitcher holds the ball, and now he lets it go. And now the air is shattered by the force of Casey's blow. Oh, somewhere in this favored land, the sun is shining bright. The band is playing somewhere, dum, da, da, dum, da, da. And somewhere hearts are light. Somewhere men are laughing. And somewhere children shout, holly, holly, and free. But there is no joy in Mudville. Mighty Casey has struck out. And now, time for our mid-service stretch. Thank you.
Please join us as we sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jacks. I don't care if I never get back. Gonna root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. 'Cause it's 1, 2, 3 stretch, you're out at the old ball game. One more time. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jacks. I don't care if I never get back. Root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Yeah.
The inspiration for my reflection today comes from Susan Sarandon's opening monologue in the movie Bull Durham. I believe in the Church of Baseball. I've tried all the major religions and most of the minor ones. I've worshiped Buddha, Allah, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, trees, mushrooms, and Isadora Duncan. I know things. For instance, there are 108 beads in a Catholic rosary, and there are 108 stitches on a baseball. When I learned that, I gave Jesus a chance. But it just didn't work out between us. The Lord laid too much guilt on me. I prefer metaphysics to theology. You see, there's no guilt in baseball. I tried them all, I really have. And the only church that truly feeds the soul day in, day out, is a Church of Baseball. Doesn't she already sound like a Unitarian Universalist? When I tell my Unitarian Universalist story, I always mention that I came here having never participated in organized religion before. I now have to confess that that statement isn't true. I became a member of the Church of Baseball long before I became a Unitarian Universalist. My life didn't start out that way. I grew up in a house of football, and our denomination was the Oakland Raiders. That is, until the Raiders owner, Al Davis, moved the team to Los Angeles for the first time. Forever after, they were known in our house as the Los Angeles Traders. From that point forward, we honored the 49ers. In my rebellious teens, I was seduced over to baseball by my older brother. He was an outstanding baseball player in high school and college and an avid fan from his earliest age. Bit by bit, he converted me over to the Church of Baseball and then to the one true team, the San Francisco Giants. So, other than being an avid baseball fan for almost 40 years, why do I think baseball fits with Unitarian Universalism? Let's start at the very foundation, the baseball field. Now, we Unitarian Universalists could never settle for a rigid rectangle, the bounded confines that defines football fields, soccer pitches, and basketball courts. Even hockey is rectangled in, although they try to fool us by rounding the corners a little bit. For the sport of Unitarian Universalism, we need something better, something different. Baseball takes the lovely shape of a square and turns it on its end, making it a diamond. 2 foul lines radiate out from home plate, past third, past first, extending out into infinity, perfect for our worldview of acceptance and diversity. In the early years of baseball, there was no outfield boundary. Home runs were scored on any hit that flew or rolled past the outfielders, and the batter got into the bases before they could retrieve it. As baseball grew in popularity and stadiums filled up, fans were allowed to stand in the outfield behind ropes to keep them off the playing field proper. Those ropes often moved suspiciously in and out in favor of the home team, and opposing outfielders were careful not to get too close to the crowd, for they were likely to be showered with beer or tobacco juice, or perhaps even receive a whack on the back or a cigar burn. Nowadays, we're a bit more civilized. There's an outfield wall and seating for the fans. But the terminal dimensions of every ball field are still not defined. Each ballpark has a unique contour to their outfield, a perfect metaphor for how each UU congregation, while in the same league, is just a little bit different. The design of the game also mirrors our faith. Baseball is one of the only games where the defense controls the ball and the offense scores by disrupting that control. We do the same here. We are a gathering not of dogma, but of covenant, the opposite of most other faith traditions. And let us not forget the second principle, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Baseball has no clock, although now I need to add an asterisk. Major League Baseball did introduce the pitch clock this year, but it only governs the amount of time the pitcher has in which they must deliver the ball to the batter. The pitch clock does not regulate the length of the game. A regular game is usually 9 innings, and both teams each get their chance to score each inning. If the game is tied after 9, extra innings are played until one team or the other wins. No rigid clock arbitrarily stops the game. Thus, we have an example of justice and equity in action. The gameplay revolves primarily around 2 players, a pitcher who delivers the ball, and a batter who attempts to hit the delivered pitch. Just as we celebrate individuality, so does baseball. If a pitcher faces all 27 batters and none of those batters reach base, that's called a perfect game. But such perfection is extremely rare. In the entire 154-year history of Major League Baseball, only 24 perfect games have been pitched. The more usual statistic for judging a pitcher's performance is their earned run average, or ERA, which is a measure of how many runs a pitcher allows for every 9 innings pitched. An ERA of 2.0 is the hallmark of some of the best pitchers. For batters, the most common measure of performance is their batting average, how many times the batter reaches base for each turn at bat. A perfect 1, remember this is a percentage, would be perfection, but the record for the best career batting average is held by Ty Cobb, a former Lake Tahoe resident, by the way, who batted .366 over his career. Look at that. Pitchers and batters fail on a regular basis. A pitcher who allows 2 runs a game is at the top of the heap, as is a batter who hits the ball only 3 out of 10 times. Baseball players are forever striving for a goal they can never reach. And I think that reflects the reality of our lives and the lives we live and the work our fellowship does. For example, our own Reno Posse strives to feed as many people as they can. Maybe one day they will be able to feed all who are in need, but just by aiming at that commendable goal, they make a difference in the world every week, and we can all do the same. Now, the batter and the pitcher are not the only players in the game. The pitcher has 8 other players on the field with him, and 9 players are on the opposing team waiting their turns at bat. Batters don't just strike out or walk. They regularly hit the ball into play. Most of the time, a fielder, such as the second baseman, will intercept the play and throw it out to first to get the out. In a similar vein, most hitters don't knock the ball out over the outfield wall for a home run. While they're not getting out, they usually get singles or doubles, which means they must rely on other batters following them to advance them around the bases to score. What I'm getting is that while on the surface, baseball looks like a battle between 2 players, the pitcher and batter, each of those singular individuals is surrounded by and relies on a community of players to succeed. All of us here are on our individual journeys in life, but through this fellowship and our connectedness of being Unitarian Universalists, our community backs each of us up, supports us, and helps us succeed on our journey. We each win when all of us win. I'd like to finish up my reflection by recounting a significant part of the history of baseball. In the first half of this century, like much of the country, baseball embraced segregation. Players of color played in the Negro Leagues, white players in the major leagues. Many of the best Negro League players could have competed and perhaps been historically great Major League Baseball players, but they were not allowed to play. In 1946, Jackie Roosevelt Robinson was offered a Major League contract by Branch Rickey, the general manager of the then Brooklyn, now Los Angeles Dodgers. In 1947, Jackie made his Major League debut, becoming the first black man to play Major League Baseball. While some welcomed Jackie Robinson and others were indifferent to his playing professional baseball, he faced an enormous amount of hostility, from fans jeering him and sending him death threats, opposing players insulting him and trying to injure him during games, hotels and diners that refused to serve him, and so forth. When some of Jackie's teammates threatened to sit out games when he played, the Dodgers mano, Leo Durocher, told a team meeting, "I do not care if the guy is white, black, or yellow, or if he has stripes like an effing zebra. I'm the manager of this team, and I say he plays. What's more, I say he can make us all rich. And if any of you cannot use the money, I will see that you are traded." Some teams threatened to boycott the Dodgers, threatened to strike if Robinson played. National League President Ford Frick and Baseball Commissioner Happy Chandler let it be known that such a strike was unacceptable. "You will find that the friends that you think you have in the press box will not support you, and that you will be outcast," Frick was quoted as saying. "I do not care if half the league strikes. Those who do it will encounter quick retribution. All will be suspended, and I don't care if it wrecks the National League for 5 years. This is the United States of America, and one citizen has as much right to play as another." Jackie Robinson played for 10 seasons in Major League Baseball and was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, the first black player so honored. In 1987, Major League Baseball renamed the Rookie of the Year trophy the Jackie Robinson Award. That same year, they retired Jackie Robinson's number 42, across all Major League teams, the only player so honored. Today, every April 15th in baseball is Jackie Robinson's Day, and all players on the field wear his number to commemorate his life and career. I commend the example baseball has tried to make. Not only did the Dodgers and the National League publicly and vocally stand up for Jackie's right to play in 1947, but baseball has continued to honor Jackie Robinson and calls renewed attention to the injustice of segregation and the concept of secondhand citizenship. Now, I don't want to put too much whitewash on baseball's record on race relations. Today, 42% of the players in Major League Baseball are people of color, yet only 2 Major League teams are managed by people of color, and no team has a minority owner. But I will say, this situation is a far cry from how the NFL handled Colin Kaepernick's and other black players' protests against police violence. Hopefully, I've convinced all of you that baseball rightfully belongs as the official sport of Unitarian Universalism. I'll be passing around a petition for submittal to next year's UUA General Assembly. Hopefully, we can make this official. Just kidding. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Now is the time in our service for meditation and prayer, where we take a moment for contemplation, reflection, and embrace silence. Settle yourself into your seat. Relax. Feel your breath moving in and out. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. We are now in the warm days of summer. Envision yourself in a vast baseball stadium, empty except for you. You are standing in the middle of the outfield, an expanse of perfect greenery all around you. Lay down on your back and spread your arms out. Look up at the perfect blue sky above. Feel the cool grass beneath you. Inhale its earthy aroma. The tug of gravity connects you, your body, your consciousness to the earth, to everything in creation. Together, let's enjoy this stillness and solitude. And now, let us close our prayer and meditation time. Place one hand on your heart and one hand open to the world, sharing your compassion and love outward. We honor and value each of our lives, our connections to this community, and the interconnected web of existence of which we are all a part. Amen, blessed be, and batter up.
Thank you all for coming out to the ballpark as we approach the 9th inning. If this is your first time with us, you can learn more about connecting with UUFNN here. There? Is there a slide? Well, we'll come back to that. To receive our weekly email and other updates from UUFNN, click on the link in our contact card in the middle of the page. If you need help with Zoom or other support, or know of someone who does, or especially know of anyone feeling isolated who may need connection, contact Carol Sorensen at office@uufnn.org. A reminder, our Reno Posse volunteers continue to help feed our hungry neighbors. They can always use more donations of canned goods and water, and more hands to do the work. For details, look in the weekly UUFNN e-news or contact Carol at office@uufnn.org. And I think that's old copy. The canned goods, are you still looking for canned goods? I see no. Okay, reminder to self. What are you looking for? Juice and granola bars. Okay. Noted. Of course, it's, yeah, nasty hot out there. Oh, and so I have another announcement. Now that I know how to pronounce Nathan Bakken's name, I'd like to bring him up to bat. Nathan, where are you?
I know what you're all thinking. That is the most bizarre baseball uniform you've ever seen. Charge. Oh, charge. Hello, my name is Nathan Bakken. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm the Director of Faith Exploration here at UUFNN. And I am making an announcement. I know many of you are thinking Pride ended in June. Here in Northern Nevada, we celebrate Pride on July 22nd. And we are, as a community, UUFNN will be walking in the parade as well as tending a booth at the festival. And I am looking for volunteers, folks who either want to be in the parade, sit at our booth. Ideally, if someone with a pickup truck would want to help set up or take things down, that would be really appreciated. And connected to that, this Saturday, July 15th, here in the Star King Room, we are going to be creating our swag at Pride. We are going to be giving out seed bombs, wildflower seed bombs, bracelets, and we're also going to be doing a sign-making party for folks who are going to be walking in the parade. So this Saturday, 4 p.m. in the Star King Room, you can email me for more information. And I hope to see you all there on July 22nd. Thank you.
Thanks, Nathan. Great bat. Love the bat. Yay! So, heads up, Team UUFNN, immediately following today's 9th inning. We are hosting a Take Me Out to the Ball Game picnic all over the new seating in the UU Stadium patio. We're talking Americana hot dogs, red and green. What? That didn't come out right. Meat and vegetarian. Nachos, root beer, maybe some other beers as well. So, and while you're out there, enjoy the yard. We had a massive crew yesterday cleaning up and sprucing up. Those of you on Zoom can stay online for our virtual 7th inning stretch coffee hour. You'll see an invitation appear on your screen at the end of the service to join a breakout room. If during coffee hour you need help, support, or questions answered, please press the help button in your breakout room. So thanks again for coming out to the ballpark. Maestro Elwing, take it away.
Rise and join us as you're willing and able as we sing hymn 77, Seek Not Afar From Beauty.
So
Please remain standing for our closing benedictions.
Is a forest in which doves play and hide. Inside can hear the still small voice deep inside. Where love life with its thread I weave, strength and commitment to all I believe. Vision be my guide as I seek my way. Lead me into this tender day. Speak through me in all I do and say.
I'd like to close with the words of James Earl Jones from Field of Dreams. I apologize that I can't match his beautiful baritone voice. People will come, and they'll walk off to the bleachers and sit in their short sleeves on a perfect afternoon, and find they have reserved seats somewhere along the baselines where they sat when they were children, and cheer their heroes. And they'll watch the game, and it'll be as if they dipped themselves in magic waters. The memories will be so thick, they'll have to brush them away from their faces. The one constant through all the years has been baseball. America has rolled by like an army of steamrollers. It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again. But baseball has marked that time. This field, this game, is a part of our past. It reminds us all of it reminds us all that once was good and that could be again. Oh, people will come. People will most definitely come. Thank you again, and namaste.